Hello everyone, and welcome to today's fall reset. I'm very excited about this video because I have been meaning to take some time to just get my life together. You might know, if you've been watching my videos for a little bit, that at the beginning of this year I decided every 3 months, so every quarter, I would do a full system reset and basically just check in on my resolutions, reset my goals, but also use that as an opportunity to like do a deep clean, catch up on all of my work, and just reset my routines as well, so that I can go into like the next few months feeling, you know, prepared and like I've got my things together. So in this video, I have an extensive list of things that I want to do, and we're going to start with phase 1 of my reset, which is going to be deep cleaning the house. Basically, my parents have been traveling for the past 3 weeks, so it's only been my sister and I at home, and I feel like for the most part we did a pretty good job at keeping the house tidy. But then I knew before my parents would come back, I wanted to do like a proper deep clean and not only organize everything and put everything in its place, but also like scrub the surfaces and like clean the bathrooms and all of that, you know, the whole 9 yards. And so I feel like because I knew that I wanted to do a deep clean in the past few days, I've kind of let myself go, and I've let myself be a little bit more messy because I just knew I was going to clean up after myself today. So now we have quite a bit on my plate, but I'm prepared. I am gonna listen to a good playlist or maybe even an audiobook, and again, as I've said, I set aside like the whole afternoon for me to do that, so I'm not too worried. I've also got my little coffee, and of course, because this is a fall reset, I thought I would use my cute little Halloween mug. Of course, I had to make myself a pumpkin spiced coffee. Okay, I need to stop drinking this because this is supposed to be like something I can sip on while I clean, but I'm over here chugging it. Without further ado, let's get to cleaning. I've been cleaning for a while now, to say the least, but we finally made it to my room, which is the last room I need to tackle. I'm like out of breath. Honestly, I only have a sip of coffee left, so I'm like running on a lower battery, but the end is near, and that is a very comforting thought. Taking a bit of a break to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Inara. Obviously, being a student, whenever I write out my reset to-do list, I feel like a big part of it is also getting caught up on assignments and just making sure I'm on track, which is where Inara comes in. Inara is an AI-powered assistant that brings together your research and study tools in one intelligent workspace, making it a lot easier for you to stay organized, understand your sources better, and just overall craft better research papers. I've been using Inara for over a year now, and I honestly feel like it's such a time saver when it comes to studying but also research. Last school year, I had weekly quizzes in one of my classes, and I kid you not, Inara single-handedly helped me pass most of those quizzes. What I would do is each week I would import the lecture slides, and then I would just chat with Inara, asking it to summarize and clarify some of the information that I didn't really understand. And then once I was done going over it in depth that first time, I would generate practice questions and flashcards, which also were a huge time saver. I really like how I was able to chat with Inara about the file that I had uploaded, but also get information from the web and from secondary sources to kind of fill in the gap of the information I felt like I didn't get solely from the lecture slides. One thing I also really appreciate is that you can really easily trace where each answer came from with clickable references that take you straight to the relevant section in any given document. Beyond its organized and user-friendly interface, Inara is also an incredibly powerful research tool. You can simply just ask Inara a question like, what do recent studies say about this topic? And choose exactly where it looks for answers, whether that be your own library of uploaded files, the web, or even a combination of both. You can try out Inara for free today by heading over to the link in my description, or if you decide to sign up for a monthly or yearly subscription, make sure that you use my code Clarice20 to get a 20% discount at checkout. Thanks again to Inara for partnering with me and for keeping me on track and organized with my research this semester. And let's get on with the rest of today's reset. Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. We are continuing on with this fall reset, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy to be done with cleaning. Like yesterday, when I finally finished up cleaning up my room, I was so relieved. I was like, I never want to pick up a vacuum ever again. So it was definitely a lot of cleaning to do in just like one sitting, but at least that deep clean is done and I don't have to do another deep clean for like another month or so. So I'm really relieved to be done with that, and I'm excited to be moving on to other aspects of this fall reset. And as you can see, we're in the kitchen today because I am going to do a little bit of baking. Also, I have the mini mic out, so we're getting serious. The recipe I'm going to be baking today is a recipe I've done many times, and that is my banana bread recipe. Specifically with chocolate chips, I just think if you can put chocolate in something, might as well. That is my philosophy in life. And you might be wondering, what does baking banana bread have to do with a fall reset? Which, you know, I get your point, but at the same time, if you have the chance to bake, why not? But I guess you could say my thought process behind this is that baking is one of my go-to hobbies. I really enjoy it. It's something I find very therapeutic. And I feel like at any time, but especially like when you're entering a new season and you're kind of like entering another chapter almost of your year, it can be really easy to get caught up in every day and in your routine and to forget to make time for your hobbies. So I wanted to set the precedent in this video and just show you me doing one of my hobbies, which is baking. Obviously, everyone has different hobbies. Baking can be kind of time consuming, but I feel like it's just like the perfect way for me to turn my brain off and just have some me time. So whatever hobby you enjoy, let this be your sign to make some time for it this week, even just 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it might be. I think I'm enjoying this little mini mic a little bit too much. I'm like feeling like a reporter right now. Anyways, I've been sitting here talking for the past few minutes, but we're gonna get to baking now. I think I'm gonna put on some YouTube and just get caught up on some uploads that I've been looking forward to in my subscription box, and I'm very excited. So let's get to it. I just got changed and ready to go for a short little run. My banana bread is in the oven, so hopefully when I come back, that's all done. My mom is home, by the way. I'm not leaving with the oven running unattended. I don't really feel like going on a run right now, I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like taking a nap, but we're gonna push through because, in case you didn't know, I'm training for a half marathon and the race is this weekend. It's less than a week away, which is kind of crazy to think about because I've been working towards this goal for the past few months. If you've been keeping up with my vlogs, then you'll know. I feel like I've reached a point in my half marathon training where I just want it to be done. Like, I've been running for the past few months and I enjoy running, but I'm also excited to be incorporating more workouts into my routine. Nothing is preventing me from doing that right now, but I've just been putting all of my eggs in the running basket. So I'm excited to do the half marathon and then start incorporating like yoga and Pilates again. At least I only have to do a short run today because obviously I'm like saving all of my energy and the strength in my legs for the half marathon this Saturday. Okay, let's go running. I've never seen them that close before. I just put together a little harvest bowl for lunch. I just mixed it all up so it doesn't really look aesthetic anymore, but I made this in a recent vlog and I really liked it, so I wanted to make it again. And I feel like this is a really simple meal prep idea for the fall time. I basically just cooked the quinoa ahead of time, also roasted sweet potato and carrots, so I just put that in the oven with some spices, and then you can just really easily put it together with some cheese. I had some kale as well, and I added some pecans. I don't know if it's pecans or pecans. Let me know what you guys say, because I feel like I just choose one of the two every time. And last time I shared this recipe, a lot of people were asking what I use for the dressing, and I kind of just improvise every time, to be honest, but I feel like this goes really well with a more like balsamic kind of dressing. So I had some olive oil, balsamic vinegar, maple syrup, and Dijon mustard, and I just kind of like mixed that up. I eyeballed all the quantities, and that's what we have. So anyways, I'm gonna have lunch, and I'm probably gonna grab my computer and also plan out uploads for the next few months while I eat. Earlier today, I went to catch up on some homework at the coffee shop. I feel like it's just always best for me to work on my assignments out of the house, and especially lately I've been getting distracted on my phone really easily, so I just need to get myself, you know, outside, and then usually I'm more productive. Also, on my way back from the library, or not the library, the coffee shop, I decided to go for a walk, and I kind of took the long way home, and I had such a pleasant walk. A lot of the trees around my house are still green, but some of them are slowly starting to turn golden and red, so it's really pretty. And I also saw 2 deers, which I feel like is pretty rare. I don't really see them around my neighborhood often because obviously it's like the suburbs, but that little detour I took was more in a like natural kind of area, so that was really cool. The time has now come for me to sit down and open up my journal to see whether or not I've made any progress on my 2025 goals and resolutions. This is actually the reason behind why I've been making these quarterly reset videos every 3 months, because I figured that by forcing myself to not only do a reset of my environment and my routine, but also giving myself an opportunity to sit down and reflect on my resolutions, I would be more likely to actually achieve them. And I feel like that's more true than ever, especially now as we're entering the last 3 months of the year, because really the next time I'm going to be setting resolutions again, it's going to be in January for the next year. So this is really my last chance to review these and make any adjustments. This is also the part in the video where it's easy for me to start rambling, so feel free to treat this like a podcast. I'm going to try to be really clear and concise and to the point, but I do love to talk, so we'll see how efficient I actually am. Starting with the first goal on my list, which is to journal on a somewhat consistent basis. And unfortunately, I really feel like I have put journaling to the side these past few months. I was gonna say just this past month, but it's been longer than that. Over the summer, I was like pretty good at journaling somewhat consistently. I would pick up my journal every once in a while, and I feel like that was enough. But especially since I've come back home and since I've started school again, it's been really hard for me to make time for it. And I know the benefits of journaling. I truly feel my best when I journal consistently, because I feel like it gives me an opportunity not only to check in with myself, but also just to be more aware of like the things that are on my mind and what I might be overthinking, so that I can be a better listener to others. So this is really something that I want to cement into my routine for these last 3 months of the year. Second goal is to complete a professional internship, and I forget if I already talked about this last time I did a reset, but I've kind of figured out that this isn't something I'm going to do in 2025. Rather, right now I'm looking for an internship opportunity like start of 2026, winter semester pretty much. I've made it a goal to reach out to some of my professors and see if they might have any contacts that are currently looking for interns. I also know I need like a LinkedIn crash course, and I just like need to really gear up for the professional world, but I feel like that's not really something they teach at school, or at least not in my program. So it's really up to me to like make that first step and make that conscious effort to, first of all, seek out internships, but also network and just put myself out there, as they say. Number 3 is to become more financially literate, and then also to invest in the stock market. Again, I feel like I'm just like collecting defeats with each of these goals, but I feel like I haven't made as much progress on this specific goal these past few months as I was hoping to. Filming these videos is honestly a wake-up call sometimes, because I can easily forget about my resolutions or just like tell myself I'll get to it later, but now is later and I haven't gotten to it yet. One thing I think would be helpful for me for this specific resolution would be to have like a routine every time I get my paycheck every month, because obviously with my job, like income isn't really steady from month to month. Sometimes I'll get paid for a sponsorship I did like 2 months ago that I had forgotten about. So I really want to be better at actually putting money aside when I get paid and directly investing that in the stock market right away, rather than like sitting around and waiting for the right time to do it. Next goal is to read 40 books or more, and I definitely think I'm gonna stick to 40. I don't think I'm gonna get past that number for 2025, just because I've been in kind of a reading slump these past 2 months. I think I mentioned this in one of my recent vlogs, but I have just not been motivated to pick up any book recently, and I just feel like I notice that I'm reading whenever I pick up a book, if that makes sense, rather than getting lost in the story. And I really want to change that. I think one thing that might help is filming more book content and just making reading vlogs for YouTube. That's always something that helps me knock out a few books in a row. And I know you guys have been wanting to see more content like that, so hopefully we can make that happen. Obviously, being in school, it's a little bit tricky sometimes to prioritize reading, but I think making it a part of my routine, whether it be reading on my commute or right before bed, is an easy way to make more time for that hobby. And audiobooks as well. I've been sleeping on audiobooks, so I probably should get back into those. I forget which number goal we're at, but next one is to keep up a consistent workout routine on a weekly basis. And you already know, if you've been watching my videos recently, that I'm currently training for a half marathon, so having that goal to look forward to has definitely forced me to be a lot more consistent with my workouts. At the same time, I am definitely excited to start implementing more diverse workouts into my routine, because lately all I've really been doing is running. So once that race is done, I'm definitely planning on going to Pilates again, incorporating yoga, and just trying out different things. I think that makes it a lot more exciting, and then when it's exciting, it's easier to be consistent. This next goal I actually feel like I've made significant progress towards, and that is to cook more often and try out new recipes. I feel like I've shown like glimpses of the recipes that I've been experimenting with in my vlogs, and it's definitely something I like to have fun with. Even just experimenting with different go-to recipes for my lunches every day has been really fun to just switch things up. Next up is to stop letting criticism get in the way of my creativity, and this resolution isn't really something I can measure necessarily. It's more of a feeling, I guess you could say, but I do think I've been less critical of myself. Obviously, comparison is not something that I feel like is ever truly gonna go away, but I do think I've gotten a lot less critical, and maybe that's also because I'm like back in school, so if I want to post consistently, I can't really spend too much time ruminating on every tiny detail. I just have to get it done. Which brings me to my next goal, which was to maintain consistency on YouTube and expand into short form. Again, another area where I feel like I've made a lot of progress. Obviously, consistency on YouTube, like it ebbs and flows. I really try my best, but now that I'm in school, it's a little bit harder for me to have like a set posting date. And then in terms of short form, I'm also pretty proud of the progress that I've made towards that. Obviously, YouTube is still like my home. It has my whole heart, but I feel like I've been feeling a lot more comfortable about posting on Instagram and posting vertical videos, whether it be on shorts or on reels. I don't have a full schedule down by any means. I'm not really rigid, or I don't have much of a structure in terms of how I go about posting short form, but I feel like in terms of where I'm at right now, that's actually been what's working best for me. All this to say, it's been a lot of fun, and I feel like because of that, it's been easier for me to make progress towards this goal. Next up is to continue prioritizing my routine and avoid my phone, especially in the morning and right before bed. Right now, I'm in a pretty good place with my routine. I still think there's always more progress that could be made, but I've created this kind of like mental checklist in my mind where every morning I know I have to like make my bed, brush my teeth, and then I also like to ice roll my face. I have this like ice roller that I look forward to using every morning because it just depuffs my face and wakes me up. So I feel like I've been going through that mental checklist in my mind every morning, and obviously some mornings I still pick up my phone, but I've really been trying to just put off looking at it for as long as possible. And then in terms of my night routine, I feel like it's been a little bit more tricky, especially now that I'm fully immersed into the semester, because every night I'm just like working on my computer up until pretty late. But I have been consistently doing my closing shift, which is where I'll clean up my room a little bit, tidy up, I'll set aside my lunch and outfit for the following day. And that is definitely helpful in switching over to like night mode, but I think I still need to focus more on the relaxation aspect of things. Again, turn my phone completely off and just settle into kind of the sleepy state that I need to be in order to fall asleep quick. We are now at the last goal on this list, which is to cut myself some slack and avoid pushing through when I feel burnt out. To piggyback off of what I just said about my night routine, I feel like one thing that would be really helpful to start implementing would be to have like a set curfew or a cutoff time where I need to shut down my computer and go from work mode to sleep mode. Again, this is a lot easier said than done, especially when you're like in the middle of a lot of deadlines, but I feel like that's really important for me to avoid burnout, because sleep is the first thing that I'll start to neglect when I start feeling overwhelmed. And with that, we are officially done going over my resolutions. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. As you can see, the sun is starting to set now, and I feel like the days have started to feel shorter and shorter, and I'm not looking forward to daylight savings and to only having a few hours of daylight per day, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. I will really have to just like lean into the cozy vibes to the max. And speaking of which, I wanted to actually close off this video with a little bit of self-care. I have more work I need to do and get caught up on, but afterwards I thought it would be nice to do a face mask and just like get ready for bed and unwind together. So hopefully we can close off this video on that nice cozy note. Face mask do its thing for 10 minutes or so while I just prepare everything for tomorrow, set out my outfit, write out my to-do list and whatnot, and then I'll come back here and finish up my skincare and get ready for bed. My skincare is all done, so I'm gonna go enjoy this and read a few pages of my book before I go to bed. I'm honestly so excited to crawl into bed. I also washed my sheets earlier today, and I feel like there's no better feeling than crawling into fresh sheets after a long day. Thank you for watching. If you've made it up until this point, I hope you enjoyed today's fall reset vlog and that it gave you all the cozy vibes. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys hopefully soon in my next video. Bye!